Hello, and welcome to a brand new episode of From the Honeycomb. I'm here with my husband, Jesse.
Hello.
Yay!
Yay!
And we are here to recap our year of 2021 together. With the help of some wine. All right, so here we are with Jesse recapping the year of 2021. This is episode 10, and I'm so excited to share with you what we did this year, what we were up to. And for us, it's also kind of a way to capture the memory of this last year.
Definitely.
All right, so Jesse, what are you grateful for in this moment?
I'd say today...
Oh, wait, before we start, let's cheers.
I'm grateful for not being interrupted. Oh, sorry. That's a different podcast.
Cheers. All right, go ahead.
I think I'm grateful for getting ready to set up my little home gym in the garage.
Good.
Yeah.
That is exciting. It's been kind of a weird year with being able to go to the gym, not being able to go to the gym. So at-home gym is really good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Gym hours fluctuating. And so, yeah, must be something.
Good. Well, I'm really grateful because I cooked dinner tonight and it was absolutely fantastic. And it's nice to get back in the game with cooking. I took some time off to study. And I made I made a really good dinner tonight. I made schnitzel with some potatoes and broccolini, mashed potatoes, and it was really, really good. So I feel like I've kind of back in the game with my cooking.
It's true. It was an excellent meal.
Thank you. And I did part of the cleaning. So that was good too.
Yeah. A part.
I just set up for this podcast too. All right, so let's dive in. Let's begin January. So we started the new year off in Carmel Valley, which is in Northern California. We stayed in a really cute Airbnb that...
I think we talked about it before.
Maybe.
So it was an Airbnb on 40 plus acres out in the woods. It was a oak grove, beautiful little wood burning stove for heat, just in the middle of nowhere. Couldn't see any other buildings, no other neighbors, deer and wildlife walking through.
It was perfect for COVID times because back in December of 2020, numbers went back up again. We were like, oh, we're just getting away into nature. So that was a really great way to kind of start the year. Beautiful scenery. We enjoyed the coast. It was really nice. It was kind of a nice, relaxing trip with no itinerary planned. And then the rest of January, I had my first haircut not done by my mom so my mom's a hairdresser and she's been cutting my hair since I was born. And due to COVID and her living out of state, we weren't able to see each other for over a year. And so I had to find a hairdresser and get my first haircut without my mom. And it was, don't laugh at me. I came home and I cried. Like it was an emotional experience. The girl was great. I really liked her. I mean, her mom was a hairdresser, so she understood because her mom only cut her hair. So, but yeah, it was definitely a first experience. So, and then also exciting thing that happened in January was my wedding dress arrived. So that was fun. I got to try it on. I sent some videos to family. So that was really good. And I started to study for my, one of my architecture exams, the PPD. So I started that. And then also I started meeting with a group of girls. We meet, every other week just to talk about our careers, where we are with our Dharma, which is like our soul's purpose. And so that was kind of a fun way to start the year. Yeah.
Yep.
Do you want to take a sip after every month?
A sip?
A sip.
Sure.
Let's take a sip after every month.
Cheers.
Na zdroví.
For me, though, January was kind of a rough month. I was just coming off of a work-related injury, so I was hurting a lot of January.
No, that's true. But that's coming from Carmel, you had a little bit of an injury and just, it was a slow start to the year than we had previous years. I think also coming from another COVID wave. But then February, it didn't pick up too much. I continued to study for PPD and I ended up failing, unfortunately. But one highlight of February for me was I got to give a presentation to elementary school kids about architecture. So that was super fun. That kind of helped me get motivated more towards pursuing architecture, continuing even though I had failed my exam. And we really stayed local for most of February. We dined out for the first time since the COVID resurge. So we may have gone out for dinners back in 2020 like once or twice, but we really made an effort to support local businesses. We biked around our neighborhood a lot.
Yeah.
So we kind of just, it was shorter month, mostly was taken up by studying for PPD, but it was good. Short.
It was short.
Yeah.
Short month.
And take another sip. We're done with February. This is a new format for this show. Cheers.
Cheers. That's what I mean. Quick trivia out there to the listeners. How many months have 28 days? All right. And moving on to March.
Moving on to March. Maybe we'll give you the answer in next year's episode.
March. All right, what do we do in March?
Let's just start with March. March is a very important month in this household because it is my birthday. My birthday month. And we spent my birthday camping in Joshua Tree, which was really fun. We got new hiking shoes for it. We spent just a beautiful time. We went to a new campsite. Just stunning. The weather was great. We really had just a great time. We went to the Herein mountain hike on the day of my birthday, which wasn't it the highest peak in Joshua Tree?
I believe so.
Yeah. So that was good. And celebrations had to end shortly after the birthday because I had to restart studying for PPD exam, unfortunately. And
so since March is Katerina's birth month, we have an Advent calendar for March.
That's right.
Where so each day she has a little drawer to pull out, and there's a small treat for every single day in March.
31 days.
31 days.
31 days.
Yep. Yeah. That's her birth month.
My month. The whole month is we celebrate my birth.
The whole month.
The whole month.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And by 2022, we got a big birthday month coming up. The big 3-0. So we gotta go. Yikes.
That's right.
Gotta go big on that one.
Go big. Hopefully go Nicaragua.
I know. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Right now we're planning our honeymoon for 2022, and we may kind of conjoin it with the birthday. It's a good time to go there anyway, is March. So we were in Costa Rica in March, which was a good tourist season. It's a little drier. There's no rain.
No.
And then in April, we got some great news. I passed PPD. Finally, there was a little drama with the testing center during my exam. The computer decided to completely freeze and just not work. So I had to change computers, unfortunately. But I ended up staying calm throughout the process and found out that I passed PPD after I sent an email to them complaining about it. And they wrote me back, well, it's all good. You passed anyway, so don't worry about your technical difficulties. But so that was really exciting. That was a big highlight. I had studied really for, 3.5 months. And so it was really good to just have that pass under my belt. And we got our COVID vaccine, our first one. So that was good. Had that roll out. Our friend had an exhibit at the Laguna Arts Museum. So we had a private tour with him. So just more local stuff. We didn't really do anything crazy.
Yeah, so our friend Jacques Garnier is a really fascinating photographer. He had recently opened his exhibit at the Laguna Arts Museum and offered Katerina and I a private tour through his exhibit. We have his book from that series, and obviously had already gone through that. But it was really special to go through the museum exhibit and have him kind of walk us through each of the individual pieces and photographs and where they were taken and what he had done to them. So it was really special.
Absolutely. And then at the end of the month, we got to mail out our invites to the wedding. because we had a September wedding in Madeira, so that was kind of a big thing off our to-do list. And that was mostly April.
Yep, that was April.
We definitely had a slow start to the year. It's a lot of studying for exams, but yeah, so that was March. So that was April.
April. Cheers to April.
Cheers to April. All right. Then came May. May, we kind of sped things up a little bit. We finally had some things on our social calendar. Unfortunately, I failed PDD, one of my exams, but we did end up, kind of taking a break from studying for a little bit. We went camping in Joshua Tree just for the night, which was really fun. And for that trip, we bought a new tent. We bought new sleeping mattresses. Those were good.
Yeah, we also bought a new pop-up tent that's much smaller because we camped just a few spots over from our previous trip, but the site, it was in Joshua Tree, and it was in one of the campgrounds called Jumbo Rocks. And we knew when we reserved that spot, having just been there a few months prior, that it was a really, really tight spot, which wouldn't accommodate our big 8-person tent, because you can put, a queen size blow-up mattress, and there's plenty of room for, changing or kind of hanging out in there if it's early or late or inclement weather. But so we bought this, technically a 4-person tent, which you could barely fit 2 people in.
There's no way.
Yeah.
You could fit 4.
And it's not air mattresses; they're sleeping pads. So they're about 2 inches thick, and you use a bag to roll it up and then squeeze air into them. So they're really thin, but we went deep on those when we bought them. For price wise, they're pretty pricey, but really, really well reviewed at REI, and made the difference.
Yeah,
especially for Katerina, who's used to sleeping on the queen size air mattress when she camps. This was a big step for her, and she did great.
Thank you. Yes. For pointing that out. And then in May, can you believe we had our first beach day of the year?
That's pretty late.
That is pretty late. Yeah, once it comes warm time and Jesse can go in the water, we can both go in the water. I usually don't get in the water till July, but let's be honest. But yeah, that was our first beach day.
Beach day, yeah.
Like swimsuit,
I think maybe I'd been surfing before May, or
like you, yeah.
Yeah.
And we do walks on the beach, but we don't.
Walks in, but it was our first day at the beach. Blanket, food,
swimsuit,
planned out, swimsuit.
Sunscreen.
Spent the day at the beach. Yep.
So that was good. And then at the end of the month, we had definitely a busy schedule. My mom came for her 50th birthday, and we rented boats in Newport Beach, so that was super fun. She came down, and we really celebrated that whole weekend, and it was really good to just kind of be back with family. I hadn't seen her in over a year, so that was nice to be reunited. And then you had a project you were working on that week, or that month, I mean.
Yeah, May, I did one of my little builds where we had harvested a tree branch that had died, and it was overhanging one of our streets nearby, and we knew it was just a matter of time before it either fell off the tree or public works would come by and cut it off. So we'd harvested this tree branch the year before, and then
well, let's back up on how did we get this branch.
So without going into legal terms, we stole the branch. But again, so we got up at 5:30 in the morning, or we left the house 5:30 in the morning, drove to this street and cut the branch off, because we didn't want to have to explain to anybody why we were taking it, or the fact that it was dead, or all these things we knew. And we're very environmentally conscious, and we don't harm plants or animals. But this branch was termite ridden. It was literally going to be chopped off or fall into somebody's car because it was over a parking spot. So anyway, we harvested this branch the year before, and I had done some work on it, but other things kept coming up, so I just put it up in the garage attic, which was fine because it helped cure and dry the wood anyway. But in May, I finalized it, so it's a branch that it mounts to our wall in the living room and overhangs the couch, and it has several glass vases in it where a philodendron is growing. So the philodendron kind of meanders across the branch and has integrated LED lighting, so it lights up, kind of backlit with a glow. So that was something we finally got installed in May.
No, I'll share photos of that on Instagram for sure. That way everyone can see it. Can't drink yet. We're not done with the month. Jesse's drinking.
That's not true.
Can hear the glass being set down.
And it was Katerina drinking. Don't blame it on me.
No, I was not drinking. And we had our first big trip since January at the end of May. We drove up to San Francisco to stay at a friend's house, kind of check in on their house. And that was really good. We got to see some of my extended family and just kind of explore the city. It was different this trip. I feel like we had every trip we had taken, especially, the last year during COVID was very us in an Airbnb in nature and just kind of keeping to ourselves. And this one, we were in the city, we walked out of the place. We were within a couple blocks from restaurants. There was just a different, and you can tell, it just was a different kind of trip than we had been used to.
Yeah, we stayed at a friend of ours' place that they have a beautiful 5-story historic home. Just unbelievable, top to bottom. And
the views were phenomenal. Yeah, Golden Gate Bridge
has a view of the bridge of Alcatraz. I mean, it was just of the bay. I mean, it was just, you just looked out almost every level. Didn't matter, almost didn't matter, except for the basement level was trees. But every other level was a beautiful view of the bay. But yeah, it was different. It was very urban.
That's the word.
We didn't cook a lot. There was a great kitchen, but when you're in somebody else's, friend's home, I don't want to not work or. Yeah. So we did eat out more than we typically do when we travel. Yeah. And we saw your family, so we did spend a lot of time kind of out and in town and doing touristy things, which is a little different for us when we travel.
No, yeah. All right, well, let's drink to that. Let's drink to going to San Francisco. Cheers. Yeah, that was fun. That was a good trip. And then June, just to kind of go back to studying. I'm always studying every other freaking month. So in June, I started studying for PDD again. We stayed local, lots of beach days. Just lots. We were, constantly at the beach. Every weekend, maybe Saturdays and Sundays, soaking up the sun. And lots of wedding planning, too. We did a ton of wedding planning. Wedding planning picked up really May, June. We sent out our invites once we started getting RSVPs. We were constantly video chatting with our wedding planner, which we also have an episode about planning a wedding during pandemic. I'll link the show in the notes so you guys can listen if you're curious about how that wedding went down. And another thing we did, which kind of going off of Jesse's branch build he talked about earlier, we kind of have these projects around the house. Jesse finds something and then we use it for something or build something out of it. And you had found at a job site, this whole job was going to be demoed, the whole house, everything. And you found a beautiful piece of wood that then in a few months later turned into our table.
Yeah, it was a section of a tree. It was probably close to 2 feet in diameter, and it varied in thickness because it tapered, but it was probably no thinner than 2 inches at its narrowest and probably 3 or 4 inches at its widest. But I would have to guess it's maybe teak. Beautiful piece of wood, and it was in this semi-abandoned home. The home itself was very old, and this tree section was from a tree that had to have been very, very old, and it was dry already. So it had been cut many, many years ago from a tree that was very old then. So it's really a beautiful piece of wood.
And then another thing in June, of course, was I recorded my first ever meditation.
Yay!
Started my meditation recording career, so that was really good. So we can drink to that, to my meditation career. Yeah, now you can drink. We're actually having some wine from Portugal. Okay, perfect. Thank you. So we drank to June. So then we're in July. So halfway through the year, it was kind of a slow start. Like, just let's back up and talk about the first 6 months. Mostly studied.
Yeah, it was mostly about
passing the exams.
Yeah, it was all exam oriented. So for me, that means doing the housework, the cooking, the cleaning, the shopping.
Like running the household, which I really appreciate. For me, all I do is study, and it's so. And then we stayed local. You know, we had gone to San Francisco for, you know, and Joshua Tree. We hit up Joshua Tree twice, which was incredible.
Yeah. That for us, that's like a 2 hours.
Joshua Tree?
No, 3 hours.
Yeah, depending on traffic. Joshua Tree, yeah, it's like it can range from an hour and a half to 3 hours. It depends what time of the day you leave.
Hour and a half to my parents.
Oh.
I think it's like
2 hours.
2 hours on a fast trip down there, or 3.5 if we hit some traffic. I think 3.
It depends who's driving.
Yes. Which the second trip, we forgot to mention, we took Katerina's car, and she did drive. And that was part of the reason for switching over to a smaller tent and a smaller sort of footprint when we camp, is the ability to take her car, which is way more cost effective on gas mileage than my big truck.
Yeah, no. And then we can both drive because I can't drive your truck.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's halfway through the year. July, back with the exams, I failed PDD again. And so that was just kind of a bummer. But July really picked up. We put studying aside, and we finally left the state and got on our first airplane since March 2020. And we flew to Colorado to visit some of my family. Yep, and we're both wearing our Colorado sweatshirts, actually. I don't know. But yes, we are proudly representing Boulder, Colorado. We had a great time in Colorado. We hiked in Boulder. I got to show Jesse the apartment I lived in the 90s when I first moved to the U.S. We enjoyed walking on Pearl Street. And that was we were both like, whoa, there's like a place outside of California. We really... Oh my gosh, we forgot to drink end of June.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, Jesus. Stop.
Jesus Maria.
Or maybe we did. I don't remember.
For me, one of the cooler parts of walking Pearl Street was seeing street performers again. Oh, yeah. Which we had not... here at home, we spend most of our time in Laguna Beach. And we spend a little bit of time at Dana Point on our off time, like we said, for bicycling through town or going out for a bite to eat. But so Dana Point, not a lot of street performers. Laguna Beach, occasionally in the summer, but last summer not so much, and the summer before non-existent. So the Pearl Street, there was dozens of street performers. Easily. There was magic shows, there was musicians, there was all different types of artists there. So that was really cool.
Yeah, I felt it was busy. People were out and about. It was summertime. It just was and yeah, that was a big trip for us too, just being on an airplane too. That we hadn't been. We just kept local to driving, and just seeing that it was kind of just back to normal in a way, but not. But yeah, no, Pearl Street was really fun. That's where we got our sweatshirts.
That's where we got our sweatshirts, yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. That was really fun. And then my family threw us an engagement party, which was so sweet of them. And it actually happened to fall on our 1-year anniversary of getting engaged. So that was pretty cool. That worked out really well. And we had my parents Zoom in and Zoom call in. And so that we had them on the screen and played a game, played some wedding history game. Yes, you won. Yes, okay. Jesse's flexing his muscles right now. He's number one. He won. It was I think it was the facts about weddings or superstitions about weddings.
Yeah, wedding superstitions.
Yeah, wedding superstitions.
Yeah.
So you won the Starbucks gift card for that. So that was really
which I still have not cashed in on.
No.
I have a feeling somebody used it. Somebody who had access.
I have not used it. I have been tempted, but no,
Yeah.
I have not used it. No. And then, of course, we worked on the tabletop that we talked about earlier, like back in May. We kind of did some woodwork stuff. And then you started kind of playing around with, you started building a fountain this year. And then in July, we started to work on that tabletop that we found a couple months earlier because we kind of took a break from studying. We're both like, let's be creative. And I'd never done any projects with Jesse as far as the woodworking, so it was kind of fun. We went out to his parents' house. You started to work on the fountain project.
Yeah.
I sanded down the tabletop. That was kind of a cool little bonding experience. I like that.
I was working on the chainsaw, carving the octopus, and you were working on that tabletop.
Yeah. So that was good. That was fun. And then we also went to the lecture that Jesse had mentioned earlier about our friend at the Laguna Art Museum. He gave a lecture, which was really cool. And that was a fun kind of more, again, we like started every month, we like added onto our social calendar, which was really nice. And after that lecture, we found a really great sushi place.
So the lecture was, Jacques was kind of walking. So the private tour he gave Katerina and I, he did a public lecture and slideshow and kind of walked through some of his previous exhibits and books and then kind of caught everybody up on where he was in life and how he'd come to this reductionist style of photography. And it was great to get out. It was great to be among other art lovers. The friends of ours whose place we stayed at in San Francisco, they attended the lecture and we were able to sit with them and talk and catch up along with their grandson. And so, it was a great time. It was really nice to be back in immersed in culture again and to have a shared experience rather than like seeing something on social media or like your experience is somebody else's. Like this was a shared experience, which was really great.
No, for sure. All right, no, that's the end of the month. I know Jesse was reaching for his glass. You're good. Cheers to being more social. And so that brings us to August, where we really picked up our socialness. But before we did that, we flew to Colorado again on an assignment. And the assignment was, why'd you shrug your shoulders?
I'm looking at your agenda here.
My agenda? I printed out a list of what we did every month.
Mm-hmm.
And printed. Okay. We'll get to whatever you're shrugging about. Is it the Colorado thing?
Mm-hmm.
We went on an adventure of a lifetime.
How many hours did you drive, Katerina?
16.
Oh, how many hours did I drive?
1.
I think everybody knows now why I'm shrugging my shoulders.
I just wanted that piece of information so I would remember it for the podcast.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I wouldn't want to forget that.
Yeah. So, but let's start with...
How many meals did you cook this year? I mean, we're just start talking numbers.
I'd say like below 100. Like below a strong 100. Like, are we counting breakfasts?
Yeah, we're counting every meal.
And we're in December? Yeah. I probably made 100 meals. If that.
Well, obviously she leads... You've heard of those people who have like 2 lives and 2 families. She must have another family where she cooked like 90 meals for them. Because I can count probably 10 that she cooked here.
Well, this weekend alone I cooked 2, so.
What did you cook What did you cook?
I made schnitzel.
And what did you cook besides schnitzel? Oh, all right.
Gotcha there.
She did get me. I think she was going for her poached salmon lunch today, which she didn't cook. She slid off onto a plate. But anyway.
It's all in the details. So back to our big adventure with Colorado. That was really fun. So we went on this adventure to Colorado, an assignment, if you will. And what it was is we had to get my stepdad's car from Colorado to California. And he offered to pay us to fly us to Colorado. And we did. We flew Friday evening. We took the last flight out, which ended up getting delayed. We got to my grandparents at like 1 a.m., woke up at 5. I think I had 4. Oh, Jesse said, 4. We woke up at 4.
We were on the road at 5.
We were on the road at 5 to drive the car back from Colorado to California, which is about 2,000 miles. I don't know what that translates to kilometers, but it's freaking far. 16 hours. We drove Colorado, which also the one main pass that gets you through the Rocky Mountains was closed due to landslides. So we had to go like through, is it like Gunderson or something? Gunderson Forest. So we had to take quite of a detour. So that's why it took a little longer, because I did the same route by myself a couple of years ago, and it took me, don't roll your eyes, by myself, and it took 11 hours from Colorado to Vegas. Yeah, so we did it in about a good time. I mean, we just went. Like, the only time we stopped was for gas, got some food, but otherwise, I mean, I took 2 power naps, but yeah, we made it, and then we made it to California. Oh my gosh, but yeah, we went through, so Colorado, Utah.
How many power naps did I take?
Like 5, probably.
1. I took 1 power nap. 1.
I thought you took like 2 or 3.
No, are you crazy?
I don't remember. You slept when it was raining in Utah. That was really exciting. We saw rain for like the first time in like 6 months. Yeah. Anyway, it was a great trip. So that was really fun. Kind of an adventure. Yeah, we got back. So we flew to Colorado Friday night, drove back Saturday to California, and it was super fun. Yeah. Colorado, Utah, Nevada, Arizona for a second, and then California. So that was really fun.
Yeah, I'd never even stepped foot in Utah. I had no idea. There's some beautiful, beautiful country there.
Yeah, and we were just on the highway.
And exactly. We're on the highway. I can't even, like...
Yeah, we have to go back.
I get it now. Yeah, people talk about Utah and the camping and hiking there. It's just like, amazing.
Yeah. And then so we got back from Colorado, and I was already taking my podcast course to help start off my podcast career. And you started working on your fountain.
Yep. So I built the fountain, made a pump housing, and finished the octopus tentacle carvings, and kind of August was when we finally put it all together, installed it in the patio, got it running. Yep.
Yeah, so the fountain was in the northeast corner of our home, which if you put like the water element there, it attracts abundance and good fortune. And it did, because after the fountain was, are you going to turn it on so we can hear it?
I don't know. Let's see if we can hear it.
And then we also went to a comedy show. We saw Taylor Tomlinson, which she was good. Yeah, it was
good.
We hadn't been to a comedy show. I mean, I haven't been to a comedy show in years.
Yeah,
so it was kind of fun. It was good. She was good. She was funny. Some jokes didn't land, but it was a tough crowd.
It was a tough crowd.
Southern Orange County is a tough crowd. I will give it that. Like, it was very... But she did well. She handled it well. It was good. It was a good time. And then the big event of August, which was like the pre-big event to September, is we had our civil ceremony here due to some legal paperwork that we were just not wanting to do with Portugal. So we ended up having a civil ceremony here in Southern California. My mom flew out for that. And after our civil ceremony, so it just was at the courthouse, we just had, your dad was our witness, which was great. And then our families got to meet for the first time. That was really important too. And then we went to Taco Bell for the reception, which was epic, which is awesome. We actually went to a Taco Bell that was kind of like near and dear to my heart, if you can say that.
You can.
Yes. This Taco Bell really was. I mean, they just remodeled recently, it was good. It's a nice remodel. But this Taco Bell I went to for my high school graduation dinner. I went there for homecoming dinner. This Taco Bell played a pivotal role. A pivotal role in my life growing up. And it just so happened that Jesse actually used to live by that Taco Bell at one point, and he used to go there. So it's kind of like fitting that we both, we just decided to have our reception there. So that was really fun. And let's take a nice big gulp before September. Because this is when, like...
That was August.
August, yeah. There's a lot of wedding planning in August.
Yeah, August was pretty intense for...
Wedding planning
to finalize things and what were we going to do.
Then drum roll, please. September. The biggest month of this year.
We have to drink for August.
We already did. I'm drinking again. We should just double drink for September. Because what happened? Yeah, what happened in September?
That's right. We went to Madeira.
The most epic trip I think I've ever had. And what did we do in Madeira?
We got married.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, put a ring on it.
Yep. We did. I did. You did.
Mm-hmm.
It was the most amazing trip. Hands down. Just overall, I think the anticipation with the trip, I mean, so much could have gone wrong. We were checking, are the borders open? Are they closed? Are they open to Americans? Are they open to Czechs? Are they open to... We had family coming from other parts of the world. Like, who can even get onto the island? Everybody has to test. Not everybody was vaccinated. Oh my gosh. Like, so much could have gone wrong. And everything was, like, amazing.
Yep. And we have Katerina has a podcast on it, specifically on the wedding.
Yeah, you can say we. We did it. Yeah. We have a podcast on the wedding.
So definitely check that out because I think we have a lot of good tips in that podcast about destination weddings and about weddings during COVID. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, I think that podcast is going to stay relevant for longer than anybody really wants it to because I think weddings during COVID is going to be a thing for a minute. But yeah, fantastic trip.
Amazing hiking.
Yeah, couldn't have asked for better participation from the people who showed up. Like everybody who showed up was on their A game. Everybody showed up for us, and they like all families do. You know, all families have a little bit of drama, and everybody put aside all of their drama and was just there for us. It was really amazing. Great time, great weather, great island, amazing. Like
the people, the food, just everything. The hiking, just overall.
The water, the diving, just everything about it. The food,
wine.
The wine. All of it thanks to our wedding planner, Eugenia. She, so check out our other podcasts. We talk about her incessantly, but she made that happen. Amazing trip.
Yeah. And again, amazing people. I think we were so beyond grateful for the people who showed up just to we had a great group of people too. It was small. There was only 21 of us, but everybody there just stepped it up and showed so much support. That was really incredible. Yep. Let's cheers to everybody to salute.
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 Muito bom.
Muito bom. Jesse picked up Portuguese.
A little bit.
You're really good at it. Yeah. You're really good at it. Obrigado. That's all I remember.
Obrigado.
Obrigado. And then in October, this podcast was first launched. October 1st, first Friday of the month. And now here we are, episode 10. So that's
double digits.
Double digits, I know. We're hitting the double digits. Ending the year strong. Feel really good about it. Feel good about the podcast. I'm excited what's to come for 2022, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. So I had great luck with the podcast launching, gotten so many great listeners. I'm just all over the world. I'm amazed. I mean, I had a listener from Nepal, from Russia. I've had a lot from the US, some Europe, just overall just so great. It's been so much fun working on this podcast. And then, of course, though, can't forget about my exams. I started studying for my exams, studying back for PDD, for my architecture exam. But before I started studying, the day before I started studying, my cousin immigrated to the U.S. after a very long immigration process. She made it. She's here. We're super, super excited to have her here. So that was...
Yeah, same cousin who lived with us for 3 months in 2019.
Yeah.
So she's
close.
She's close. She's close family member.
Very close. So super exciting to have her. She better be listening to this episode. And that's October. My cousin arrived. That was a big deal. Yeah, that was fun.
That's October.
Back to studying.
Cheers. October.
Cheers.
Well, speaking of October.
Oh.
Did you know that Halloween was actually originally an Irish tradition that the Irish people brought over from Ireland?
No.
It's true.
They brought it to New England? Massachusetts?
I don't know if it was... no, it wouldn't have been that early. Irish people didn't come over on the Mayflower. Yeah, we were actually...
the Salem witch trials.
Yeah, we were actually imported later as a lower class people. It's like when Irish people first came to the colony, we were.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we were lesser class. Couldn't get jobs.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you were different. You had different religion, different accent.
Yeah.
You were foreigners.
Yeah, but yeah, no. Halloween, it was originated in Ireland. They didn't carve pumpkins. They carved turnips. Actually,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but turnips in Ireland were more like the size of like a large cantaloupe, or maybe like a small watermelon, but maybe like a small pumpkin. And they used to hollow out the inside, same as you do with the pumpkin. And then when the Irish people came and they brought with them Halloween, and then obviously the turnips here in the Americas are much, much smaller. Hard to carve those in the jack-o'-lantern, so they switched over to pumpkins. But most of the rest of that tradition is the same as it was in Ireland.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
It was a fun fact.
Fun fact. God bless the Irish and all their drinking ways.
Let's just cheers for that then. Let's just have another drink. Woo!
So that on to November.
Where was it Jesse's birthday? Yay.
Yeah, I get a single day. So I get one day. I get one day in November.
That's a preference thing.
It is a preference thing because I could care less about my birthday.
Yeah. And November only has 30 days, so I still would have beat you on that. I have 31.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That's true statement.
Yeah. But yeah. You had a nice birthday. Kind of just more chill. You're more chill with your birthdays than me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also kind of hurt again and recovering, and just so it's just kind of like a off physical year for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely a tough physical year for you. I feel like mental year for me. Mentally I got beat up just with all these exams, with all these failures, and then physically you had just some injuries that just took a little while to heal. But with those injuries and that, we still were able to get our booster in November, which there was that. More studying. November just studied hard. And then we had Thanksgiving with the family. That got kind of thrown off an extra day or two because we had 2 days.
Power outages. Yeah,
power outages. Here in Southern California, whenever it gets really windy, they turn off the power, the electricity, because it'll start wildfires. So it's November was like more of a, kind of like after just like August, September, October, we're just like boom, boom, boom. Even July, we really just kind of like chilled in November, for sure. All right. We got a cheers to November.
Cheers to November. Cheers to Thanksgiving with family, finally.
Yeah. And that brings us to this month. This lovely filled month, which unfortunately had another failure with an exam, which sucks. Really did suck. But we went all the way out to Rancho Cucamonga. These exams are really freaking hard, so I'm just going to regroup for 2022. That's the year I'll get my license, my architecture license. I just have that exam and then my California one. So I just got to hang tight with my California one until I get this one done. But we've been having some fun family time. We just went out to a fun little show last night. We saw the Dinner Detective show, which was really cool. That was really fun. It was like a show with like a murder mystery during it, and you don't know who did it. It could have been someone at your table. It could have been like there's some actors in the group, so around. So that was really fun. And yeah, we just this past weekend we just really cleaned and just kind of are reflecting on the year back. Obviously, that's why we're doing this podcast. But before Christmas starts, we got a Christmas tree.
Did you get a Christmas tree on Saturday?
Yeah. A very cute one.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I've started doing my popcorn and cranberries around the tree, my decoration. It's going to take a minute.
Cheers to the guys at Home Depot. So we picked out a tree. It was our second stop to try to find a tree. So we picked out a tree. Look at us. We do the usual stuff. You shake it, and not very many needles came off, but looked fine. So we took it up to the front to pay for it and have the bottom trimmed. And after we paid for it, and it was a small tree. It was a 5 to 6 foot in the pay scale, the cost scale, and so we paid bottom dollar for it because it's very small. And as soon as the guy took it from us, he's like, "Hey guys, go ahead and pick out another tree." He's like, this This one's mostly dead. I don't think it's going to last very long for you. And keep in mind, what was it, the 11th? Was it yesterday, the 11th? So it's not like it was Thanksgiving weekend and we needed this tree to last, for a month solid. Like, we're only a few weeks away from Christmas, and this guy still said, hey, you guys should go get a better tree. And we went out and really couldn't find one in that size anymore. Like, all the ones in that size and that cost were gone. So we got one from the next size up, and they honored the same price and didn't even make a big deal out of it. They were actually very gracious and said, oh, they were just, hey, we're glad you guys found a different tree, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, they're like, we couldn't let you leave with that tree.
Yeah. So
that was really cool.
Yeah,
so we got an upgrade.
Really nice for them. Really nice of them. And so we have a really nice tree. So that's like another thing when I look at the tree, I think back to like the humanity of it, like how nice it was to go and just, it's one of those things. Like, it's something we think they've taken for granted for a long time. Just the human aspect of going out and purchasing something and interacting with people. I think 2020 we did. I think a lot of people did shopping online, and we've continued that through 2021. And I think you lose a little bit of that
like human contact, that like one-on-one transaction, like,
right? Yeah. To where, like, if I had ordered something on a website and it showed up and it wasn't exactly right or wasn't what I thought it was going to be, you're not going to get that individual who says, "Hey, no, let me swap that out for you."
Yeah.
So yeah, it was nice. Nice to see. Nice to be a part of something like that again. Just the simplest things, just the small interactions with people. It's really nice.
Aww. I wish we could end the podcast on that note.
But we can't because we have
2 more things. That was such a nice no. I'm sorry. We should have. No, we've got Christmas coming up. We've got some plans to see family. Probably do a hike up in LA one day. Hopefully the weather stays good. And then we're just going to spend the New Year's just kind of locally up in Topanga, which is just north of LA. It's like between LA and Malibu. So we're just going to stay a few nights up there. Just kind of relax, unwind. Kind of just, again, how the year started, just in an Airbnb and some nature. And
yeah, that's kind of our thing. We go out of town for New Year's. That's how we like to celebrate the New Year. We go out of town. We reflect on the year that had passed. We set goals for the year to come. And we really just focus on each other. Like, we're not the biggest. We
got a lot on the books. We've already kind of started to talk about it.
So we're hoping to get down to Nicaragua.
The first, part of the beginning of the year, for sure.
Get some surfing in, some yoga in. So this will be the year Katerina will surf.
For the first time.
For the first time.
Yeah.
So.
Fingers crossed. In warm water.
Crossed. Yeah. At our Christmas office party on Friday.
We're going to stay on an island in a lake where there's like a volcano.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm super excited. We're going to start planning that. All right, well, in conclusion, I think the beginning, we did lots of local travel, lots of wedding planning, but all in all, it's good. Second half of the year was just like, off we go.
Yeah.
But
yeah, really the first half of the year, I think it was, oh, can you believe we're going to go to Portugal? And it was like, no, I don't believe that. And then
can't believe we pulled it off.
Second half of the year was just like, first half of the year was like, the days just seemed to tick by so slow. And there was so much chaos and confusion with COVID. And we're like, we're just never going to get there. And then the second half of the year was just like the days were just flying off the calendar. And we were racing towards the Madeira trip, still not knowing if we were going to make it. But it was just every day was evolving of somebody, this country is on a list, off a list. It's good to travel, it won't travel. You can go there, you can't go there. You need a vaccine, you don't need a vaccine. It was just, second half of the year was just like flew by with every day was just like looking at websites and looking at information and checking with consulates and are we going to get there?
I think that's what's to come too. I think that's with traveling now too, though. Like, I think we're both we just talked about it at dinner, is like a little hesitant about the Nicaragua trip is, okay, that goes back to checking, are the borders open? What are the restrictions? And thankfully by springtime, it does get a little better.
Yeah, but I think the benefit of the Portugal trip was Portugal is in the European Union and they're very organized, and like finding out information wasn't difficult.
But I'm glad we have nothing to plan next year as far as event wise, because anybody planning an event next year,
best of luck.
But yeah, best of luck. I'm so glad we planned the wedding and it happened when it did and everything worked out, because we're in for a few more years of COVID and restrictions and everything. So I think, yeah, we'll see how the year goes. But it's kind of exciting going into 2022, like in a way, not fully knowing what's to come this year. Like we have a few ideas of what we want to do, but not necessarily when is it going to happen specifically. And I think some of the stuff like holding it up is like my exam, unfortunately, but like we just need to sit down. There's just so many moving parts. So we'll kind of be on our toes, but it'll be fun. 2022.
Cheers to 2022.
Cheers to 2022. All right, thank you for listening to this episode. If you liked it, please give it a heart or thumbs up, or if possible, I would love if you could rate or review my podcast. And please click the follow button so you can stay up to date on the latest episodes. And if you like or follow me, please send me a screenshot that you did and send it to honeycombbeeblog@gmail.com. And I'll send a special meditation that I recorded just for you, my listener. So thank you so much for listening to the last episode of 2021. And I can't wait to talk with you in 2022. All right, bye.